Hey, Mike Renau from A.D.D.REPTILES. On today's episode, or I guess this month's episode of, the whimsical world of Mike Renau, we will be doing a little introduction, showing you guys around some of the random animals and giving you some history about A.D.D.REPTILES. Alright, so tour begins. Walking into the garage, this is our first reptilian area. This is what we call the Christmas tree rack. Some of the larger snakes that aren't big enough yet for cages just yet. Random wall over here. This is a work in progress. Excuse me. V70 tub, or rack, turtle tank as well, and then this center area right here, melamine cages that yours truly built with his bare hands, and various animals, not by any particular region or species. Some of the cages are a little bit barren. I have yet to furnish some of them. Misting timer. I've installed misters in all of the cages that require humidity. Makes it a lot easier on myself. Exciting stuff. Here we have all the shipping supplies for all of you lucky folks that receive an animal from us. Some smaller animals in here, bearded dragon, random stuff, Dumarill's monitor baby. This section will all be turned into melamine cages as well at some point. Here we have the fridge with some of the necessities for reptile keeping, such as veggies for the not only cold-blooded ones, but the bugs as well. Some medicine, random stuff, and then rodents in the freezer. Moving on. Same thing, some more enclosures over here. Then over here we have our baby tortoise pen. What I plan on doing, I actually ordered a greenhouse cover to help hold in humidity, so this will all be covered off by next week. And these are for all of our baby tortoises. Once they get older, they go outside. Here we have some of our iguana enclosures. Very basic, simple. These are the iguanariums. Makes it really easy to roll them out and get them in some sunlight. Some nice UV exposure. Here we go into the reptile room. This is a very, very nice feature of the house actually. This room is basically basement. Very well insulated during the winter and summer. Helps cycle a lot of the animals. I don't have to do anything as far as cycling goes. So over here we have all of our racks. Baby rack. This is usually only full once a year during breeding season. Here we have our remaining knobtails and a few different snake species. Another unused rack, some crested geckos just because. A little closet over there for supplies and medicine and such. And over here, these are the cages that I did not build. Most of them are falling apart and need to be redone, but they're still holding up. Center Spangler eye display, because he's awesome. Cricket tubs. We have our super worms in here, gloves. Yeah, and that's our reptile room. So we're gonna go out back now and see the outdoor enclosures. Hey! Alright, so these are our outdoor enclosures for our larger lizards and tortoises. Over here we have a temporary setup for Piper, the albino iguana. He will eventually go up on the hillside in a better sized cage. This is Erica Jr.'s cage over here. She's still in recovery. Nearly there. Here we have the white throat enclosure. This one is 12 feet by 4 feet by 6 feet high. We have our heated boxes over here, controllers controlling them. Then behind you over there we have Hank's home. Cinder blocks, very simple. It's starting to cool down right now. He's got a tortoise heat pad in there and 150 watt bulb. Speak of the devil, there he is. After attempting to destroy the iguana cage, getting the last bit of sunlight for the day. I'm sure he's exhausted. Destruction is very tiresome. And over here we have our smaller Argus, Shooter McGavin, waiting until he gets big enough so we can pair him together, the female. He's not very friendly, but we love him anyway. And in this planter over here, you know, we make the best use of our space, so we have a bunch of different Mediterranean species. There's a smaller marginated tortoise right there, and there's their heated box. There's Big Bertha and a box turtle. We got another marginated tortoise in there. And then we have the hillside, which I'm planning to do big things with. I spent the entire last summer clearing it off. There's one tortoise pen we have built over here, which I am also going to get tarped off with a greenhouse cover and go from there. Exciting stuff. Try and make the best use of our space available.
Alright. So how did you get into reptiles?
Well, this was many moons ago. I don't know. I always loved them. Had a reptile birthday party when I was, I think, 7 years old. Got my first iguana, not unlike this one. Grew it up, and then lost interest. Got more interest in women or girls, and video games and skateboarding and the such. So, kind of got out of it for a while, and then second year of college, got back into it. Realized, well, I have my own money now and my own space now, so I can buy pretty much whatever the hell I please. And that's kind of where it started, from a colony of chameleons to a colony of leopard geckos to what you see here today.
What interests you about reptiles?
Oh man, I mean, everything about them is interesting. How they evolved, how they fit into the ecosystem, their importance, the fact that they are hypoallergenic. I am allergic to pretty much anything cute and fuzzy, so that rules out guinea pigs, rabbits, that sort of thing. So I was generally drawn to reptiles, and they're just awesome. They don't ask for anything, they don't bark, make noise, they make a mess. It's not in your space, it's in their space, easily cleanable. And they're very rewarding to watch them grow and bond with you. Take a lot more effort than just a dog. You know, they're not gonna love you just because you give them pets and attention. Quite the opposite sometimes. They'll give you tail whips and bites in spite of your best efforts to be their friend. And yeah, they're just awesome creatures. And superior, in my opinion, as far as evolution goes. The most efficient, more so than mammals.
What is your goal in keeping reptiles?
Well, in keeping reptiles, I guess there's the selfish goals, such as being able to keep the animals that normally are very difficult to acquire. I'm not saying like smuggled animals, but the endangered ones that are expensive and hard to keep in general. But also being able to propagate them and share them with the world, not only in general, but also at a affordable price. That is my goal, is to have as much fun with this as possible, own the most awesome, in my book, or my selected species of awesome reptiles, and then being able to share them with the world.
If you could own one reptile that you don't have now, what would it be?
One reptile that I don't own, there's always interesting stuff that I'm looking for. I have a whole list of stuff that I would like to acquire, but above all else, probably at the top of that list would be a Parenti, Varanus giganteus. They have them at the LA Zoo. They're awesome. I've seen them in Australia at the zoos, not in the wild, but just a very impressive monitor, very challenging to keep, as well dangerous, largest monitor species in Australia, and just the fact that you can't get them in the US makes them all that more desirable.
What are your plans for the future?
Well, plans for the future are to keep expanding with the room available to me and constantly bettering my knowledge on the species that I own and the ones that I'm interested in, learning from my mistakes, constantly growing and improving husbandry, and hopefully having better breeding success.
Do you have any advice for beginners?
Well, for beginners, really, knowledge is power. Do as much research as possible before you get the animal. Always have the cage prepared beforehand, before you bring the animal home. Be careful on the internet. Any ding-dong can go and write a page or some care sheet for an animal they know nothing of, they've kept for maybe a year or so. Best information is always published. There's a lot of great books out there. That's what I would recommend. And always be part of the community. Look for help. Don't be afraid to join a forum or even go to your local herp society meetings. That can always be a great help. And yeah, just talk to everybody and have fun with it.
How do you convince your loved ones that it's okay to keep reptiles?
So this is a common problem you can sometimes find with either your parents or maybe even your wife has issues with keeping our scaly friends, and you never want to just kind of drop a reptile into somebody's lap, especially when they're uncomfortable. Yeah, it's kind of, especially with snakes, it's a biblical fear that's instilled with in us since the day we're born. And it's kind of unfair, but unfortunately that's how it is, and we just have to better educate those people and also show them that these are not terrifying monsters that'll bite the crap out of you and, crazy barbaric animals. So best way is always to slowly kind of expose them to whatever, lizard or snake that you're trying to get. Start out small, and then work your way up to, whatever animal you'd like. But education is the key to helping people understand these highly misunderstood animals.